What's up, everybody? I know they're material. This is real. This is real. I'm Parth with the Philly Blitz. I'm here with Pierre and Quell in real life. I know we said live pod. We do a lot of live pods on Twitter, but this is a live pod. It is a check to see if these guys are alive, if they're real, if it's just my imagination. Turns out I'm right. Turns out the Eagles are Super Bowl champions. How you guys doing?
After yesterday, we could definitely use a wellness check pod because, buddy, talk about a time of your life. Well, beloved dub to those who celebrate is I, the one and only Quell Owens. Right next to me, I got the big Hefe. How you feeling, Pierre?
Man, bro, I love Philadelphia, man. I love this place, bro. It's like Philadelphia Eagles heaven, man. Everybody walking around with their Eagles gear, the Eagles hats. And, like, I really feel like the rep the city gets, bro, like, people are, like, mean and stuff. Bro, no, that's not true, man. Like, this is my first time, like, really being in the city for real. And, bro, I love this place, man.
It's a good place, dude. And you got a good Philly experience. So Pierre got in on Thursday. And then, we hung out. I had a test I had to study for, so I wasn't a very good host. But, we hung out, made him some food. The shukla chefing, had to get to work a little bit. And then Friday morning, woke up, took my exam, failed it. And then we head out to the parade. And, I mean, it was electric. There were so many people just – they said there was like 1 million people there. And it felt like there were 1 million people there. And, people were just in high spirits, and everyone's hugging and high-fiving. Yeah. I thought there were tush pushes.
People in trees.
Got people in trees, like climbing up.
Police doing tush pushes.
Right, that's how the police went through.
Mitchell absolutely plastered. My goodness.
Dude, all of them were plastered. That's the best part about having like a young team too, is these dudes were there to party, bro. Coop was faded. Like
between him and Quinn. And Nolan too.
No, bro, you trying to kidnap somebody's child, bro.
Yo, like I believe it was James Bradbury. Shout out to James Bradbury, man. He was the team safety patrol, the chaperone for the day. Had to be the OG for everybody. Walking around with a singular beer. Like, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. Okay, you can't do that either. Cut.
The reporter tried to interview Quinn. He got between them.
Yeah, because he knew Quignon was going to say something crazy. I'm upset, actually, that they didn't air his and Jalen Carter's speech. They actually went on the TV afterwards. But if you were in person, you had the chance to see, man, I didn't have the chance to go to 2017 when we won. But, buddy, I can only imagine if there were that many people out there. Like, it seemed like they brought out not just the entire city of Philadelphia, but how they say Eagles everywhere. It was really Eagles everywhere.
Dude, yeah. There's so many people who are here traveling. Parking has been a nightmare. It's just nuts. There's so many people in the city. Today, I was walking to the city. I had to, like, just go do some work. And I was walking by, and I was like, dude, it just looks like outside. It just looks like there was a party. You know what I mean? Like, you walk around a house after a party, you're like, oh my god, I gotta clean all this up. It's like nasty. That's what the city looks like. Like, it just looks like everybody was partying, and that's exactly what it was. And it was really cool to see, man. And I hope we get to do that again. And you could just see how special of a moment it was for these guys. And obviously, we talked about it. They're ready to get back to work and do all that, and they will, but. I think at the parade, it kind of sets in like, oh my god, dude! We won the Super Bowl,
world champion,
yeah, world champions.
Yeah, I think you could even when Jalen spoke, when he was like, he told himself he wasn't gonna come to the Rocky Steps until he won the championship.
That was hard.
That was awesome.
Like, the moment is really like setting in for them, like you said, like, hey, we're world champions, bro.
Honestly, like, for all of them, I know we had the conversation both offline and on podcast about what this championship would mean to us and how it compares to the initial championship we won. And I know I've continued to say that this one would be special because the stories of the players that it comes with. And I mean, when you listen to Jalen say things like he just said about not going to the Rocky Steps, when you listen to CJ, who, I mean, there's no surprise that there was a bit of disrespect on both sides when CJ when it was clear CJ wasn't coming back to Philadelphia, and I mean, you know, if anybody who's ever been through a bad breakup, we know it can be nasty sometimes.
It was a bad breakup
It
for
can
me
be
too.
nasty.
It hurt, man.
But you
I
can
got
hear
the Gator hoodie on right now.
Always repping, bro. Go Gators.
but to hear him say, just like when he left, he cried. Like he missed us. This is genuinely where he wanted to be. When you listen to guys like Zach Bond, like, man, I hope we can get something done. Hell, Milton Williams, even though the jokes came out after Thursday where he had the clutch T-shirt, like, yeah, he's gone. He's finished.
Rich Paul definitely told me that.
He said, man, I'd love to be like, this is home. This is where I want to be, man. So these guys realize that they're in the midst of building something special. Mm-hmm. It's just like you said, man, having the opportunity to take it all in. It's pretty cool, man.
Yeah. You never know. Yeah, Milton. I hope he ends up back here, but he feels a lot like Javon Hargrave. Where it's just like
the inevitable.
It's inevitable, right? And he is so talented in and of himself. Like I think he wants a chance to be the guy as well, right? And I was listening to that on a podcast this morning because Jalen Carter's here, right? And the thing is this is a really heavy D tackle draft. I think D tackle was the position that got invited the most. There was the most D tackles, so it's going to be
the combine, right?
Yeah. Sorry, what did I say? The draft? Yeah, the combine. So it's going to be it's going to be interesting to just kind of see how this offseason plays out. We talked about it a little bit at the end of the last pod, but let me ask you guys now, again, in case anything's changed. Out of our free agents, who do you guys want back, and then who do you expect back?
So I think of the big four, that being Mekhi, Vaughn, Milton, and Josh Sweat, I think realistically speaking, I think they'll only be able to bring back two of them. And, just based off the conversation that we just had with Milton, I think he's priced himself, out of their budget, I guess if you want to phrase it that way. So, I mean, I think most likely it'll probably be Becton and Vaughn. Just because even with Josh Sweat, the performance that he had in the Super Bowl, like, he's gonna get paid, bro. Like, and just with Milton and him, I don't know if we have the financial resources to bring both of those guys back.
Even aside from just the financial resources or his performance in the Super Bowl, you can kind of see the writing on the wall with the selection of Morrow or Jomo, and even how Morrow's performed in his time when he's had the opportunity to play. I remember early in the season, I believe it was against Atlanta, where they sent out their quote unquote best four pass rushers. I believe it was Sweat, Huff, Carter, and Morrow. So you can tell that Morrow's very highly viewed in the room. Mm-hmm. So it wouldn't surprise me. Like you guys mentioned, it's a deep D tackle class. It wouldn't surprise me if Milton's probably gone. I expect Zach Bond to be back, just because I mean, how hard has it been for Howie specifically to strike on the linebacker position, man? And when you find a guy like that, I mean, who knows? It could be a flash in the pan type of thing, or it could be this is perfectly fit type scheme. He just was waiting to be utilized the correct way. Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting to see exactly how they view the linebacker position or exactly how they go about that. But like we talked about off air yesterday, I believe it was, where they've spoken about the want or the belief that they should be high on the what's it called, the comp picks. Mm-hmm. The comp pick formula this year. So they expect to lose players. That means they expect not to be highly active. So it's a chance that if the team improves in any way, shape, or form, it'll probably be on the trade market. How I see it.
Yeah, I think that's a good point about the trade market. It'll be interesting, and we were late night conversations about Max Crosby versus Myles Garrett in this house here yesterday. So we're
alcohol filled late night conversations.
It was screaming. I was like, dude, no, what are you talking about? So trade market will be interesting to watch. Out of our free agents, I think Vaughn is back. I think
he's too important.
He's too important, and the fit is too good on both sides. I think Vaughn is also gonna want to be encouraged to stay here. Now, then again, it is his only chance to get paid. He's 28, so he wasted a lot of his career withering away on the Saints. When he should have been here playing linebacker. But I don't know, man. I think Vaughn will be back. I feel like it's got to happen, and then I think they'll bring Becton back. I know we've talked about that we have Steen in the room, Stoutland, you, all those things.
Steen, Keegan,
Yeah,
so we know that they.
Very true, very true. But
not to cut you off, specifically Steen though, I think they're high on him. Like I mean, we saw him this year. He got in a couple games. I think he started 2-3 games.
Well, they were high on him, but then they still brought in Mackay.
Yeah,
right. So he's been fine, and I think he's a good filler, right? Like when one of these guys goes out, I think he has good flexibility there, and I'm pretty sure he played some tackle as well. So just being in that Jack Driscoll swing role could be useful. I just think from a fit perspective as well. I think Mackay with the guys from a bonding standpoint, I think they've become really close. Yes. They talk about that.
Have you seen the video of, I believe it was Jordan Mailata, essentially I'm begging you, Howie,
exactly.
Bring him back.
That's literally what changed my mind, bro. I saw that and I was like, Mailata's a team captain, right? Yeah.
I don't know if he's a captain.
Team leader.
Yeah.
Regardless, right? So
his opinion is very highly regarded.
Exactly. And for him to want him back, and we just know the prototype of the guards that they like, and Mackay fits that. He's a really big guard, and I think I don't necessarily buy the whole him stepping into lane spot when he leaves, because he's a good fit at guard for a reason, and I don't know if him playing guard for a couple of years is going to make it easy for him to just go transition and then get back into pass sets for a tackle. We saw what happened with Tooney. It's just it's different body movements.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, him being drafted as a tackle, I mean, the traits are, I don't want to say the traits are there, but he was unsuccessful outside of injuries for a reason. Because there was times where he was on the field, and it wasn't like he was some kind of world beater for the Jets at tackle. So I do think his home at guard is something that the Eagles probably should consider long term. Now, I mean, that brings us to a conversation that we'll have more next week on the pause with. So what the hell do you guys think happens in round 1 at this point? I mean, when you sitting there at pick 32, last time we were here, we traded the pick away that ended up becoming Lamar Jackson. And you sit there and you like, well, team could really go BPA. You could talk about needs and all things of that nature, but they're in a very solid position to kind of go either way, way, shape, or form will come draft day.
Yeah, I think trading back I think that's kind of likely, honestly, just to not recoup picks, but just kind of get more bullets in the chamber. But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting.
I think the pick is gone, one way or another, whether it's for picks or a player. 32, the value at 32 is just it's essentially a second round pick if you want to look at it like that, or it can be, or some second round picks can be high first round picks. So it depends on how you're looking at it. But besides the optionality of the 5th-year option, if they can get a couple more picks, or if they can get another player, I think that'll be something to watch. We got a comment up there earlier about Bryce Huff. Did you guys see him?
No.
Not at all. I've seen a lot of people.
I didn't see Bryce
Huff.
It's an odd situation because he was a healthy scratch
for the Super Bowl.
For the Super Bowl.
Your biggest acquisition of the offseason. I mean, you can make the argument that Saquon Barkley was the most impactful, but in terms of financially, this was supposed to be the star of the show in terms of your acquisitions of the offseason. And you get all the way to the big game and he's a healthy scratch.
Biscuit. Sorry, Nick.
I don't know. It's a funny question because, context matters. Who the hell is the quarterback for 2017? Is Carson healthy?
Regardless, this defense is too good. Yeah. What we saw from this defense is historical. This is one of the greatest defenses of all time, the greatest defense in Eagles history, easily. They're on par with the 2000 Ravens, 85 Bears. We're talking about elite company. That team was magical, and I'm not there's no disrespect here because there were good players on that team, but top to bottom, the amount of talent on this team is just it's too much.
Do you trust Jalen Mills one-on-one with Devontae Smith or AJ Brown?
Right. Well, he'll knock them off their path, and that's why he's doing this.
Yeah, I'm about to say. I know you've seen his comment on Twitter.
I was a Jalen Mills guy.
I was too, but I also knew that half the time, brother, you're celebrating because you have DB brain. Like it wasn't.
Did you see his argument, his defense for this?
I did. And listen, a lot of times, I'm sure it was true, but I also know a lot of times he got cooked.
That is true.
It's the Jalen Mills story. Hey, listen,
that is true.
I was a Green Goblin fan. That was like one of the first players I actually like really followed. Like I said, that was like that draft. He was the late draft, wasn't he?
He was 2016 with Carson. He was
He
7th round pick.
He was 16.
Yeah.
Are you sure he won the year before?
Wait, let me Google it. I'm pretty sure he was.
Wow. All right. Everything is blending together. But I remember reading like Bleacher Report articles about 7th round pick, and he dyed his hair green.
2016, 233rd overall.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Time is flying. But yeah, I just remember him coming with the green hair and all that. It's
It was cool.
He was a legend.
It was cool. I mean, I kind of agree with a little bit of his sentiment. I mean, that may not be what the tape says all the time, but
there was validity to it. I'm not trying to like say that he was full of it. Yeah, he was not buns. No, he was not #not good.
Yeah, there we go. But yeah, I mean, of course, it wouldn't be a part if I didn't say to play devil's advocate. We said the same thing about him being one-on-one with Julio Jones, and I mean, hey,
when it mattered, yeah, when it mattered, he stepped up.
It mattered. Jalen Mills was at his best in the red zone.
Yeah, because he could be more physical.
Yeah, and he had less space to have to worry about. Devontae Smith is wrapping him up. Yeah. I'm sorry. And A.J. Brown is picking him up and moving him out of his way.
You remember the same thing used to get Jalen every time. The double move. Every time. Oh, my God. Now I'm getting PTSD.
I mean, that double move was getting a bunch of people. Michael Jaquette. Yeah, that was his name, right? Michael Jaquette. Yeah, Jaquette. He got
Straight jacket. Come on now.
Bradley Fletcher. He got Nolan Carroll. He got
Leotis.
My goodness.
You love Leotis.
Byron Maxwell.
I don't know what they was doing in those rooms for those years, but it's like everybody came to camp was like, yeah, so when we play the Eagles, we're going to run the double move. It always works, okay?
Dude,
just run it.
Who are the new scouts that the Eagles got? I'm sure there's got to be new scouts in the DB room because in the last like 3 years, like the DB play has just like shifted so much.
Coaching.
Shout out to Christian Parker.
Absolutely. But even before Christian was here, just in terms of like the talent that's just been showing up on this team. Think about the UDFA class a couple years ago. Like that was the top UDFAs. They were, and those are guys who could have been like higher round picks if they had had better years. You know, like that's what we said about Eli Ricks and Josh Jobe. And so, yeah, I'm curious to see, man, because we went from just being in the trenches to now like we have Coop and Quignon, bro.
But I also think like, you know, just talent evaluation wise, like with Howie, philosophically, something's changed with him. Like from 2020, 2021?
I ain't gonna say something has changed. I mean, early on, I had this conversation on Twitter, X, whatever you guys want to call it, the other day, actually, where it feels as if early on he stopped overthinking it. And I mean, of course, it all goes back to the Jalen Reagor, Justin Jefferson situation where, I mean, it was right there. The simple thing was right there. Sometimes the simple thing is the best thing to do. Now, when you talk about these GMs, specifically Howie Roseman, the one thing we used to say all the time is he has smartest man in the room syndrome, which a lot of those guys do. I say every time I mention Howie, if you not zigging when the league is zagging, you're losing. And that was trying to be one of those zig instead of zag moves, and it cost them. But then you look at situations like the Jalen Hunt selection in round 3 this year, or just hell, you can go any further back to a lot of these selections. Hell, even the selection of Jordan Mailata, when he selected Jordan Mailata, Howie has done a very solid job of finding gems, for lack of a better term, in the later rounds of the draft. And I feel like he gets this social media GM narrative because at the top of the draft, he just keeps it simple, man. I mean, draft good football players. It's not really that hard.
Yeah, the social media GM thing is such BS, bro. It's just stupid, man. It's like he tried to do the smart guy thing, like do the analytics nerd guy thing, and go pick Jalen Reagor instead of Justin Jefferson, and we saw how it happened. So yeah, take the best damn player. Why is that not what more teams do? Yeah, maybe it's a good idea. I mean, maybe the guy who keeps winning, like what is it? for their of the year. What is it?
Executive
of the year. Maybe you should do what that guy does. Maybe it's a good idea. Maybe build from the trenches.
Taking a receiver out of TCU over a receiver out of LSU, that wasn't smart to begin with, though, if we're being honest.
Hey, man,
like
scout the player.
I mean, no, I get it. I'm not gonna get in your scouting bag, but that doesn't make sense.
How are those TCU receivers doing in the NFL, brother?
Look, all I'm saying is scout the player.
But it's valid. But when certain schools have certain types, it's got to be talked about, right? They obviously at TCU they want explosive receivers who can't catch. I guess that's what they like to do, man. Jalen Reagor, Quentin Johnson, and their guy in this draft. I don't think so. Is he?
Hey, man.
Yeah, I mean, is he good?
He's not explosive, and he'd probably catch a little more. He's actually the most anti-TCU player receiver I've ever seen.
That's what I like. Maybe he's the one who breaks the trend.
But I mean, I think we forgetting what was the guy named Dotson. Josh Dotson. It was Jay Dotson.
Yeah.
He got drafted by I think the Commanders, right? Oddly enough, I don't know how they keep ending up with the Dotsons. It was the same year with him, Corey Coleman.
Yeah.
The Big 12 wide receivers that just for a while, man, they gave a bad stink to Big 12 wide receivers. CeeDee Lamb had to change the game.
Yeah. Corey Coleman was a Brown?
Yeah.
That was a long time ago, bro. That might have been like 2012. You're like P's and Q's.
Josh
real
Dotson.
life.
There you go. Appreciate
Josh
you.
Dotson, yeah. That's a
hell of a pull. Yeah. A hell of a pull. But I mean, like we just mentioned, it was a comment that just popped up. Like they said, Brandon Graham's his speech didn't sound like a retirement speech, if you ask me. He sounded like a guy who actually has one more year left. And I mean, considering, I guess this is how I view it, considering Brandon Graham's speech yesterday and then the soft launch of Darius Slay basically saying, hey, let me spend my last year here. I got one more year left. I know I'm going to retire after next year, but I think we could do this thing again. I mean, we talked about the Eagles and the players that they probably will lose heading into this offseason, but of the quote-unquote run-it-back abilities, how confident are you guys in this roster compared to the competition next year, heading into next year? I mean, of course, we know how hard it is to repeat. We've had these conversations after 2017 where it was like, yo, I mean, it's a long season. We started the season
22.
And half our team was all still hurt from the season before. 22, where it's like
we didn't even win. And it's interesting because I forget what podcast I was listening to, but they were talking about how the Chiefs essentially played 3/4 of a season extra over the last 3 years.
Yeah,
that's a lot. It was Travis. It was on New Heights. He was talking about it, about like there's a lot of wear and tear, and so this game is not easy on your body, and so these things have a taxing way about them. I feel good though about a repeat. Dickerson needs to get knee surgery, all those types of things.
Yes, get knee surgery.
Yeah, he said he didn't specify what type, but he does need to get knee surgery. So
the second one, right?
Maybe third. I think he had
knee injuries. ACL coming out of school.
And I think he had another one as well.
Jesus.
So he's just an animal, bro.
Yeah.
We lost my train of thought. I was talking about about the repeat. I don't want to get too sentimental, and that's what the Eagles did after 2017, and it really bit us in the ass. And so they're
the guys that probably should have been.
Yeah, and so I think Howie has learned from that. Like, I think if he does give extensions, it's not going to be multi-year extensions. It's probably going to be like a year or something, like you just mentioned, Quell, about, or was it you, Pierre, about just finishing his career here. I got my questions about it, and I know he made me, look wrong and stupid this year, playing well, but his body was failing him throughout this year.
Every game, I vividly remember him jogging to the locker room.
Shavin actually laughed at me because I said that after one game. Like, oh, come on, bro. I think it was after Tom Brady. I can't remember what game he got hurt, but Tom Brady was called in the game. And the team had targeted Isaiah Rodgers. And he was like, yeah, because, Rodgers just hasn't played much this year. And I'm like, bro, if you watch Eagles games, Clay come out the game once every game. He played all year. Stop playing. But
y'all ever seen the clip on Twitter with the soccer commentator when he was like, you got to leave the game before the game leaves you? And he was like, I think the game's left him. Brother, it's Darius. It's time to go be a family man.
But realistically, just respond what you're saying. I mean, Darius, I feel as if, and you guys know how I feel about team building. It's probably, while I love football as much as the rest of us, I go Birds, fucking love ball. But it ain't many things in this world that I love more than team building. The off season, this my time because it's so intriguing to me. And just in a consistent team building conversation, the same way I say that through the scouting process, you try to learn and build from where you made mistakes at in the past. It should be the same way in team building. And right here, you talking about Darius Slay, who you should say he played phenomenal, man. He played out of his mind when he was on the field. But you can also make the same argument that so did All-Pro James Bradbury. And what happened the very next season, he was just like a shell of himself. So it kind of goes back to, like you said, Pierre, of leaving the game before the game leaves you. It's a very interesting conversation to have because, I mean, it's not like his play dropped off. Like, if they brought him back, it wouldn't be a mistake. At the same time, if the James Bradbury thing happened again, it's one of those, well, you should have learned your lesson. Yeah.
But I also think the Bradbury conversation is kind of nuanced because when you talk about him and his drop off in play, that had a lot to do with the way he was used too.
That is true.
Like, but just to answer the question, I think, offensively and defensively, I think the team, they're well equipped to contend. Specifically, when you look at the defense, you got Jalen Carter, he's still under 25. Nolan's under 25. Jalex Hunt, he came on as playoffs progress. He's under 25. Cooper, Quinyon, CJ, Reed, like they got pieces, and then just offensively too, like your nucleus is still there. Only position that's probably not going to return or possibly not return is Mackay, right guard. So I think, they're well equipped to, contend. It's just, again, about those tough decisions that need to be made.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I want to get back to this conversation a little bit because I think the Super Bowl was his best game, I think, of the season. But I don't think we can say completely that his play didn't drop at all. Like he was, and that's the thing about him, right? Is he wasn't who he was in 2019. Whenever
we played Jefferson,
right? Yeah, like he's not that guy anymore, but he's still a damn good corner. And
he's very nuanced.
He knows the little things, and that speaks to how his game has just grown so much, and how much of a student of the game he is, and how much and that's why these guys. It's so good for these young guys to be around him. I just think it's got to be at the right price. And with Slay, I also know it's his last payday. You know what I mean? So if he can go somewhere and make more money, I wouldn't blame him, because I don't want the Birds to pay a lot of money in that situation.
I can respect that. But I mean, if you're Slay, I mean, like you said, it's probably his last payday, but this probably offers you the best situation to become like you. I'm sure we've all seen a tweet going around where they said, I clicked Darius Slay's Wikipedia and it says Super Bowl champion. Tears. Like that means something to people. So this clearly gives him the best chance to continue to add to his legacy. So I mean, the conversation always becomes what means more to you when it's all said and done. How do you want to be remembered? But I mean, I wouldn't really knock him for either.
Absolutely, and that's why it's a hard position, and that's why we said at the beginning there's tough decisions that are going to have to be made on, and that's on both sides. It's not necessarily the Eagles or just Slay. It's both sides that are going to have to figure these things out. Football can be taxing on your body, and
it's not just I guess that's the big part of the conversation and having the opportunity to repeat. I think, and the first thing I mentioned, of course, was the whole injuries that the team was going through 2017 and 2022 after their Super Bowl runs. But I think what doesn't go mentioned enough is the mental tax that it puts on your body. Like I was having the conversation with Shavin where it was like, I mean, the Eagles were clearly the better team in that Super Bowl. They outwilled them, they outperformed them, they wanted it more. But in the same breath of saying that, at least to me, if you played that Super Bowl 10 times, I don't think that result is the result we get 10 times, because it takes a lot for you. I mean, we had the conversation about how hell football was for me watching after we lost that Super Bowl, and just the goal was like, if you ask me about football, I could give a hell about the regular season. Bring me to the playoffs where everything mattered, and let's get back to the point that we're trying to get to. And that's what these competitive teams, these teams with championship aspirations, that's where they stand. That's kind of the goal. But you know how hard it is to get to that point.
Mm-hmm.
But the hardest part of it all is once you get there, you still got to finish the job. And man, I don't think it, like, we could talk about this Eagles team and some of the Eagles teams of the past and how successful they were. But I feel like that was the one thing that always stood out to me. You making it back to this point was never, you always had the talent to do it. It's just getting over the hump continuously.
It's the continuous part, right? And that's why teams don't three-peat. That's why nobody's ever three-peated. It's because it's
so damn hard to repeat.
It's exactly, just even going back to back it's difficult because you never know, and there's always the war of attrition against injuries and all those different things. So you have to have things break your way over and over again, and you can be as damn good as you want, but things can happen, and you never know. I don't know what. So I had one more topic to talk to you guys about, and I totally forgot about it. But do you guys have anything want to discuss? Oh, that's what I wanted to do. Let's go to the schedule. We don't have the order of the games, but we have
the opponents.
We have the opponents. So, game 1, opponent TBD. What do you guys think?
It's gonna be Detroit.
Oh, I meant it as a joke, as in like opponent TBD. What do you think about that team?
Oh, man, very, very tough. TBD. I can't remember the last time they lost the game. Huh?
You're really playing the league when you're playing opponent TBD. You know what I mean? Like it's like NFL logo and everything.
NFL All Stars. You ever play Madden?
Grades?
Yeah. So you ever play Madden, the team with all the 99s? That's them.
I would play as that and make my brother play as a normal team because I was so bad. It was the only way. It was the only way to like even the score, bro. Pierre asked me, he's like, bro, we gotta go play. We gotta go play Madden upstairs. I was like, no.
I'm just not gonna do it.
I don't play Madden with my friends.
He's like, how would I look playing Madden against you? I'm
like, these guys are like professional Madden players. I play Madden mobile. Okay, I'm a Madden mobile guy. I got my ultimate team. That keeps me happy. But as soon as I get on the sticks, all of a sudden, all I want to do is just blitz completely all the time, and then hit stick everyone, and then just run the ball or throw it deep. That's all I want to do. But it's not how it works.
You gotta play real.
I know, and I don't want to do that. I'm in a video game. Let me just sprint. You know what I mean? Like, it's too much, bro. But here, all right. So let's get to the schedule a little bit.
I guess we can pause right there for a second. Who? You say Detroit, Pierre.
Yeah, what does the TBD mean? Like, is it literally like they're just going to give us a random team?
They don't know. Like,
I know it's to be determined, but Detroit is on the schedule though, right?
No, those are just the opponents. It's not in any specific order.
Yeah, that.
Okay.
All the teams we play, and that one's the only one that we know what time it's going to be.
Because we won the game,
right?
So okay, I see what you mean. Okay,
I think it might be Washington.
Ooh. That's a sneaky. And it'd be nice to have some division games early on, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that it's always
opener.
Huh?
Thursday night,
that'd be fire.
Thursday night home opener, NFC Championship.
But I think it's gonna be Detroit, man, because the league wanted that to be the NFC Championship. I feel like, and the fact that they didn't get to see it happen, and then you already got them on Raw on the pod talking. I think it's gonna be Detroit week 1.
Gosh, that
he's
guy's
so
a
annoying,
douche,
bro.
Man.
He's corny. He's very corny.
I remember all the receivers who were drafted in front of me.
And then proceeds to get outplayed by De'Ami Brown. Like, bro, can't make it up.
Ridiculous, bro. Hey, he's like, yeah, if we were healthy, she wouldn't be so sweet. All right, bro. You got a beater on and you're in your kitchen recording a podcast. Put on a shirt and go hit the gym, dog. What are we doing here? Jesus Christ.
AJ Brown already talking about getting back in the gym.
That's what I'm talking about.
And you got him over here recording a podcast.
Bozo. Who records podcasts? A bunch of clowns.
Microphones?
sitting in a kitchen, sitting next to people and talking, like looking at the camera. Weirdos, bro. All right. Let's get through the schedule a little bit. All right, so Buffalo.
Is that home or away?
Buffalo.
At Buffalo.
At Buffalo, at Dallas, at Green Bay, at Kansas City. Sheesh. And what's that say? At LA?
At Chargers, at Minnesota, at Giants. And then home is Dallas, Giants, Washington, Chicago, Detroit, Denver, Vegas, Rams, Tampa, and then at Washington.
That's interesting.
I think it's
always Tampa, bro. You can't get away from it.
I think it's too early to look at wins or losses, but I think over under on wins, I'd say like 12.5.
No, that's not too early. I want your too early prediction.
Yeah. Wait.
We don't even know who the offensive coordinator is going to be.
Buffalo.
It don't matter, bro.
Pure vibes.
Buffalo.
Pure vibes.
Win.
W. Okay.
Yeah.
Quell.
Next week in
You got. Look at. He made you answer that. He's like, you come back to me.
That's how it's supposed to be done. But that's in Buffalo.
Yeah.
We should win it. We could win it.
I think we could, but I'm gonna go L. We got Buffalo's number last time, and that was a close game. I think this is
Philadelphia.
In Philadelphia. Both are damn good teams. They're gonna play similarly, and I just feel like
I just don't think Joe Brady. Yeah,
Vic Fangio putting Josh Allen
true.
in a blender.
Vic Fangio, the things that he gonna show Joe Brady gonna think he back at school. Like, I ain't seen this stuff yet.
Well, wasn't he good when he was at school?
Yeah,
And
but we was talking about before that. You know, he had to start somewhere.
You're right. Okay. Well, all right. So my prediction, I'll still go with L because I just feel like there's gonna be a couple like weird games that are just gonna get dropped, you know. But then again, they just rattled off 14 W's this year in a row. But
the Eagles haven't lost a game like
September. No. Well, I don't
with
the
a
Washington
game,
game.
a game healthy
right.
since September.
Yeah. With AJ and they didn't lose the game with AJ and Jalen both healthy. Very true. Okay, at Dallas. I think that's
W.
yeah, I think it's a win.
Dallas is
Poverty.
They're in shambles, bro.
Poverty.
Genuine shambles.
What's their coach? Schottenheimer? Shotty?
Mhm.
Yeah. Go Gators. Go Gators.
Oh, buddy. We somehow always find our way back.
Never far, bro. All right. At Green Bay.
W.
W.
Jordan Love, Brett Rogers, Aaron Favre. Yeah, W.
W. The next one might be a L, though.
Yeah. At Kansas City.
It might be a L. You remember what it was like, Pierre, to go into that building and play them after we lost that Super Bowl. We had a fire. And I mean, yeah, they'll tell you it's not a Super Bowl rematch. This one ain't tomorrow. It's a regular season game.
Yeah. But
it's going to mean something.
It's
definitely
going to mean something.
That's going to be a primetime game for sure.
Yeah.
Sunday night or Monday night. I think the last one was Monday night, but I think I'm gonna go L. In Kansas City, they're gonna be.
They're gonna want to get it back, you know. And I also, we were in the Super Bowl, you know, so Vic was taking anything out of his bag that he needed to, and I don't think he'll operate the same way in the regular season. Well, yeah, but very true, very true. They played quarters the whole game. I guess from the change-up perspective, I mean, we played dime a couple times. You see Isaiah Rodgers and Avonte Maddox out there making plays. But point being, even on offense, like what we saw in that game was not what it looked like normally.
They stuck. I get what you're saying,
right?
They did a really good job of sticking to what they did, but showing different stuff. Like even offense, like Jalen Hurts. We talking about Super Bowl MVP Jalen Hurts. How often the football was in his hands to make the play, but then at the end of the day, when you look at it in the grand scheme of games, he threw the ball 22 times, and Saquon had 25 carries. Mm-hmm. Like we didn't sway too far away from what we wanted to do or what we liked to do, but they also did a great job of kind of dibbling, dabbling in other places, keeping the Chiefs honest.
Play action. We were asking for play action shots all year, and they dial one up, and it's a touchdown.
Call
Steal
it.
the Super Bowl.
If we score now, it's over. Just
It's
call it.
over. That was hard. If you haven't watched the Mic'd Up, and I'm sure you have, if you're watching the Philly Blitz, you're definitely a sicko, or you probably have notifications on YouTube turned on for the Eagles. Go watch it if you haven't watched it. It's goosebumps the entire damn time. I've watched it twice. I usually don't rewatch stuff like that. I've watched it twice because it was so good, bro.
I think my favorite part of it was the dejection of the Chiefs players.
Oh, beautiful.
Like,
You could see it slowly but surely. Like,
So it's gonna take a little bit more now.
They
Take
were
a little bit more now.
I had to dig a little deeper for this one. A little deeper for this one.
I don't remember which player it was. But it was like the Patriots did this a couple years ago.
It was
It
it was Justin Reed. And he was like, we did it last year. We did it last time. We can do it again too. No, I don't know about that one, brother.
It was the flow. It's all right. One play at a time. One play at a time. It's all right. We only need. And it slowly turned from that to you knew the game was over when this was hilarious. When Hollywood Brown walked over there, he was like, I'm just blessed to be able to play with you, man, you know. And Pat was like, yeah. I had to say Pierre. Pierre was tweaking. My man was acting like we ain't let him outside. He had to go.
It was Pierre.
Hey, bro. It was an experience.
We made Pierre drink. Pierre doesn't really drink. We were like, oh, well, that's changing, buddy.
Yeah, they just make me drink, bro.
My man said, look, we're stepping out of the habitat for a while. But it was definitely a blast. My man thought he lost the AirPod on South Philly. That's how much fun he was having.
It was under the bed. I found it this morning.
Unbelievable.
That goes to say enough.
I'm like, Pierre, what's the location on it? He said, oh, I didn't even think of that. He just all he does is post on his Instagram story. My left AirPod is somewhere in the middle of the streets of Philly. So I'm assuming he had like a screenshot of like, find my friend. And he's like, oh, maybe I should check.
I'm telling you.
All right. So let's get through the schedule before we wrap up and get out of here. All right. So Kansas City, we all kind of agreed. LA Chargers, W. Jalen is getting one over social media quarterback.
Y'all see, I respect that thought. I'm thinking past the social media quarterback. You
think about their defense or what?
Something's cooking over there.
Mentor still in DC?
Know. Yeah. I don't know if y'all noticing or y'all smell it, but something's cooking over there.
You know what I smelled?
John Harbaugh.
4 interceptions in a playoff game. That's what I smelled.
Look, that roster stunk.
Listen.
That roster, like they depleted. I have never seen. Honestly, I have. Chip Kelly did this, and we hated him for it. Or you guys hated him for it. Go Chip.
It's nasty work, brother.
Look, man, he brought me a national championship. I have never complained about anything ever again. But John Harbaugh literally got there and just like gutted the roster.
Get your pencil ready.
Got rid of all of the receivers, the running backs, and said we're gonna go get linemen. And I mean, it's gonna matter at some point. It just didn't matter yesterday, but at some point, maybe tomorrow. They are building something nice over there.
Not all the interceptions went through the receiver's hands into the corners.
Look, I'm not worried about him. They're going to win in spite of him.
That's all I need to hear. Can't be we're not a Justin Herbert podcast.
No, this is
Mr. What If. Mr. What If. Get the hell out of here, Mr. What If. Emmanuel Acho. Chase Daniel.
The Jalen Hurts anti-if.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, and the nemesis would be like, if man. That'd be cracking me up every time. And the Chargers colors.
All right. Okay, so Chargers. I said Pierre and I said W. Quell said L.
Yeah.
Okay. Minnesota. W. Giants. W. Dallas. W. Giants. W. Washington. I think with Washington we split.
Wait, is that home? That's the home or away?
This is versus Washington at home.
W.
Yeah, I think we end up splitting with Washington though. Dallas is in the gutter. Washington actually has stuff brewing. You know, like Jaden is legit, and once you have that, it makes everything a hell of a lot easier. But I'm still hoping Josh Harris manages to do Josh Harris things. So, counting on that.
I think we're gonna beat the brakes off them next year.
Both times.
Both times. Okay. I'm not worried about your $100 million in cap or your draft capital or your superstar quarterback. I
Say
have
no
big
more.
Zen.
Say no more. All right. So
Yeah.
we'll go with W for home at least. And then so the other Washington game will come. Okay. Chicago W. Detroit W.
They don't have anything, man. Like I think that's not being discussed enough.
Yeah.
Like they've lost it all.
Position coaches,
Coordinator.
coordinators.
Oh, you're talking. Yeah, I was thinking from player wise. It's like
No, I mean,
they're
they still got a
getting
little
healthier.
gap.
That's what
I'm
I'm
not
thinking.
worried about
This
the
is gonna be
health
an
though, because
adjustment.
we've seen.
Huh?
It's gonna be an adjustment. Like,
Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah.
No. I wasn't even thinking about the coordinators. You guys are totally right. Like that's a huge deal, and especially that's what we dealt with. You know, we saw
And it's
what
not even like
the repercussions
it's,
can be.
It's just simple things like losing your offensive and defensive coordinator.
Mhm.
They took Mark Brunell, bro.
this quarterback
took-
coach, right?
Yeah. They took Antoine Randall.
Yeah.
Like, talk about gutting the coaching
Mhm.
staff. My man is basically starting from scratch over there.
No, he really
He's
is.
gonna have to bite some kneecaps.
My guy. Okay. Denver W. I think.
What makes stinks.
Yeah.
Vic
I-
Fangio is
The whole that's a Vic Fangio revenge game.
Yeah, and he's gonna do
That and Chicago.
He's gonna do
Yeah,
horrible things to Bo Nix.
I don't understand the Bo Nix hype, dude. Like people are like,
I get it to an extent. He's exciting. He can run around a little bit. Sean Payton.
He's just not
quarterback
good.
whisperer. Yeah, I know that. You know that. But I get why
You
people
can't say he's
are interested in him.
I mean, like, look, I'm not even like the biggest metrics guy, but like he's gotten some plays every once in a while, but like, dude, metrically, he's like not a very good quarterback. Yeah, he's not making sound decisions. He's gotten lucky a couple times. I don't know. I think it's gotten a little bit out of control now. Like he's a nice guy or whatever, but like people are talking about Dylan Gabriel could be good because Bo Nix is good, and I'm like, first off, they're two different players. And second, like they're like, oh, short guy who runs around a lot and can throw it. I'm like, dude, like, I don't know. I think it's I would having him as a comp for draft picks is kind of crazy, bro. Like, oh yeah, Bo Nix, like he's not that good. You know what I mean?
yeah, but he's good enough. I don't think they're ever gonna win because of him.
Right, but good enough for what?
Win with.
To win regular season with. You're not winning the playoffs.
Exactly. That's how I feel about it. Good comment, King Dami. Splash plays,
Yeah.
move the needle. He's not good, but he's fun to watch. Yeah.
That's actually a great way to put
Yeah,
it.
ticket
And I mean,
He's
I
a
think
ticket seller. Yeah.
the splash plays are what stand out for me because he could do just enough for you to stay in games, and their defense is really freaking good.
Yeah. I mean, you have the deep boy. He let up 24 yards all year.
I guess.
What the hell?
I guess.
Okay.
Whatever that was about.
Huh?
This is a Zach Bond award.
Yeah, I agree. All right. So Denver, we
Jalen
agreed.
Hurts fist bump.
Vegas, W. You're not buying the Pete Carroll and
Hell
Russell
no.
Wilson hype.
Who's the quarterback?
It's gonna be Russell Wilson.
No.
It's not. Chip Kelly is not calling plays for Russell Wilson.
They're gonna get the gang back together, and you're gonna like it. You're gonna like it. You get to be a Raiders fan now.
Their quarterback's going to be Shador Sanders.
Yeah, I
You
keep
don't think
seeing
he's
that.
going to Giants?
I think Cam's going to the Giants.
Tennessee.
I don't think Tennessee takes a quarterback.
Who's going to be a quarterback? Will Levis
I
again?
mean, you can just do it for. I would
I
rather.
think they might be one of the teams that take a swing at a guy like Sam Darnold.
That's a nice one.
Me and Parth were talking about this when I first got to Philly. What happens? And I know we're on schedule, but just as a little sidebar, what happens with Aaron Rodgers? I think he has to retire. I don't think any team.
You saw this Rams thing. The Rams have gotten tired. So this is what's funny is they're saying the Rams have gotten tired of Kelly Stafford and some of her nonsense. So the NFL Network solution is to trade for Aaron Rodgers, the most not so off the field guy you can have. Like I don't know. Yeah, it's just weird, bro. I don't even know if there's like a good answer. We'll just see it when it happens. I still say Vikings. Complete the prophecy.
There's no JJ's in line, bro.
Doesn't matter. Complete the prophecy. I don't give a damn about no JJ. JJ's in line. Talking about it like a quarterback.
It'd be
Throws a running
hilarious
back.
if like That's just, history repeats itself. And it's like that is the typical life cycle for a Packers quarterback.
That's what I'm saying. It needs to happen, bro.
That's what going. Jordan Love is going to leave the Packers and go to the Jets and then end up a Viking, just like Brett Favre, just like Aaron Rodgers.
And then and at that time, Aaron will go to the Vikings. Love will start doing really well. And then Aaron's going to send pictures of his junk out. Or not Aaron.
Oh.
Aaron. Aaron will send pictures of his junk and then steal money from poor people. And then it'll be completely done. The prophecy. It'll be fulfilled. That's what it's about, isn't it?
So,
wait, is that's not the prophecy?
What's the next game, bro?
Respect Brett Favre, bro. Okay? Who was that guy who was like, I don't like you very much?
The sack record, wasn't it?
Yeah. I don't like you very much. Oh my god. All right. So I said Rams. No, we said Vegas. All right, Rams.
W.
Yeah.
Tampa.
Jalen Hurts finally vanquishes. Well, not finally because he's beaten them before, but vanquishes the Todd Bowles.
Pierre, I'm pretty sure you just predicted an undefeated season, bro.
Did I?
I'm sure of it.
Did I really?
Yes.
I don't recall you saying anything.
Kansas City.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
15-1.
Okay.
Did I really?
Yes. Yeah. Your objectivity suffers.
Did I? I didn't say W for both. Did I say W for both Washington games?
Yes.
I did.
Oh no, you agreed with me.
Yeah.
You agreed with me. Okay, so 2 losses.
Yeah. 15-2.
Mr. Realistic. Get the hell out of here, bro. Jesus Christ. All right, then the last one's Washington. I'm still thinking that my prophecy joke didn't get enough attention or love. I mean, this is a Minnesota legend right here. All right, this is Bounty Gate. The culmination of everything.
They should have finished the job.
That's crazier than what I said. That's crazier than what I said. Holy shit, dude.
Hey man, they say they could have sent that man to the gulag.
They killed him on that field, bro. Like I remember watching that game. You said
I never forget the hollow hit they did.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like he flipped over in midair, bro. It's like a movie. That was ridiculous. That's crazy. Nobody can say I'm the most unhinged one on the pod now. He just said they should have killed Brett Favre on the field, bro. He said
that's the same game.
This is not Detroit. This is the Super Bowl. You get the trophy. What he said is like, I can't believe what I'm seeing right now.
I cannot believe what I'm seeing right now.
I mean, to be fair, Brett had like 4 functioning brain cells at that point. So like,
they might not even been functioning the way they was hitting him. Boy, and my man stayed on the floor for a while, like
looking up. God,
he was begging for the concussion guy that they got right now. He was like, "Bro, somebody please take me out of this game." Man. I think that's the game that killed Sidney Rice too.
It might have been on the Greg Williams Saints defense.
Yeah, Sidney. I don't know if it was the Saints, but I remember Sidney Rice just taking this massive hit. Seahawks and Vikings, great. Do you guys ever watch those Seahawks shows like on YouTube back in the day, like during the Legion of Boom days? I don't know what they had such great like locker room footage and stuff. It was like full episodes, damn near. So I used to like watch all of them. So I was like always like tuned in on like Sidney, Doug Baldwin, all those guys like when they were coming up. It was cool. And then Russ turned out to be a weirdo and everything blew up. So just sucks.
Hey. Okay.
Huh?
It's okay.
Hey.
It's nice.
It's delicious. It's delicious.
Pretty dangerous.
Such an odd guy, bro. Dude, the more I think as we sign out, the more I think about
it. Let's get to this one last question before we
about the new. I don't know. That's about my feeling, man. I think it depends on who it's going to be. Jalen, pretty much said he doesn't want Patullo, man. He was like he basically
that was
said
not
subtle.
That's not what you
an endorsement.
Yeah.
No, not ringing. Yeah, he was like he's never called plays before.
But I think that should kind of be a prerequisite for whoever they hire. They need a guy who's called plays at the NFL level before. Like,
I don't know if you're going to get NFL level for sure, and that's the thing. We're at the tail end of the coaching cycle, right? So NFL play calling might be difficult, but I think there's guys who've called plays at different levels. I think my favorite candidate is probably Josh.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, he's familiar with the room. He's familiar with enough. I mean, he was a COVID year emergency quarterback and all, but I think he also used to talk about how you just need to get Jalen going, quick game, and doing things like that. That kind of stuff excites me. Just get Jalen rolling, like we saw when Jalen's clicking and he's just comfortable moving through his progressions and not tapping the ball. You can't beat him, and that's a lot. Like, and that's what I was going to talk about is the Joe Montana comparison. That's what it was. Get the ball out quickly, just get him in a rhythm. And so I just give me somebody who's just going to do that. Make life easier on Jalen. I don't really care who it is.
Whoever it is, they're going to end up with a damn head coaching job here.
I think of the potential candidates, I think you can pencil in at least 5 names for sure. Like you just said, Josh McCown, Gerard Johnson in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
What's the guy in Los Angeles?
Nate Shield. I don't know, man. I love him. I could have sworn I seen something about him returning to LA, but this was before the Eagles job was open, so we'll see.
He has the Sirianni connection, right?
Yeah.
The Iowa State and stuff. Right?
Matt Campbell, all those guys. I think you got to include Frank Reich for sure. As much as Eagles fans might not want to hear it, you got Frank Reich. A sneaky name that I've heard. I don't know if he'd be an OC candidate, but QB coach for sure, Mike McCoy, because he worked with Sirianni in Los Angeles, San Diego, whichever one. But yeah, I mean, I think like the comment just said, like you don't have to be whoever they hire as OC. He doesn't have to be this great schemer, like amazing draw up plays or whatever. Just don't be bad.
Yeah, Kellen wasn't.
Yeah,
Kellen wasn't. I mean, we talked about it all season, bro. Like we'll always remember the last 2 games, and Kellen is always good in my book. But like, brother, some of the games
whelmed.
Whelmed is exactly right, and so that speaks exactly what that comment said, where it's like it doesn't need to be some world-beating OC. As long as we get some level of competency, you can make it work. And the nice thing is each OC, and this is a different way of looking at it. Each OC that Jalen has worked with has taught him something different, brought different things into his games. Early on with Doug, who was like, getting through some of the progressions and not just like stopping and tapping the ball. He was really good with that for a couple of years after that. And then with Kellen, I mean, the perfect example is dealing with the blitz. All of a sudden, blitz is not a problem for Jalen Hurts anymore.
Shane was kind of the meshing point of those 2 things.
100%.
But that's why when people kind of call Jalen a system quarterback, that's why it doesn't really make sense. Because the dude has been in a new system every year since his senior year of high school. So like he's been around a ton of different play callers, philosophies, schemers, everything like that. So I think he's kind of become a chameleon of sorts as a quarterback.
Yeah, and people talk about super team and he's made up of all this and things like that. But we saw the clip of him online that's been circulating of him against the Cardinals as a rookie, right? With Quez Watkins, Dallas Goedert, and Zach Ertz, and the corpse of Alshon Jeffrey. But anyways, I think this is a good pod. Live pod. What are we at? 151. Appreciate everyone who tapped in with us. We'll be back next week with
the regular
setup.
Draft content. Get ready. Draft combine soon, and then the draft even sooner. So, go Birds.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.